Hello, my name is Gary Barron. I'm happy to be a part of the Fundamentals of Public Speaking class with you all. I'd like to get to know you more as we continue on this educational journey together. The reason I want you guys to listen to me and hear me out is because there's a point in time where everyone had a turning point that made them come to the point where they know they needed to make change in their lives. So by doing so, I would like to share with you my story and tell you how I got to this point in my life. The first thing I want to tell you is how my life as a child growing up in the church helped and hindered me. Second, I want to tell you about the trouble that I found myself in and how it changed my life. And finally, I would like to tell you how many times I made turns in my life, but this last turn turned out to be the best turn I can make. Growing up in the church was fun, yet a bit difficult for me. We were brought up in a very strict church. You weren't allowed to do certain things, and I was always the one that did the mischievous things in the church. When I turned 12, my grandmother, who was a pastor, took me under her wing, and she taught me about Christ the right way. I was under her leadership, and then I found out I had a love for music. I began to sing in a choir, I began to play the organ, and not long after that I became the choir director. I was blessed to preach my first sermon at the age of 18. At first, preaching was just something I did because that's what my mother said she wanted one out of her 10 children to do. So being one that wanted to impress my mom, I found myself gearing toward the fact of me becoming a preacher. But after a while, I found out that this is the gift that God had given me to do. So I mastered the gift, and after I mastered my gift, put the word with it, I became an effective preacher even today. Yet, even though I was in the church, I wasn't fully in the church. I found myself then becoming more involved in selling drugs, gang banging with my brothers. We became probably one of the most notorious drug sellers in our community. Found myself in and out of jail a lot of times, and each time I was released, I would go right back into selling drugs, which would land me right back in jail. How can you keep doing the same thing over and over and the results never change? It wasn't long I found out I wasn't the best drug seller and gang banger in the world. I then found myself neglecting what I really wanted to be my future, meaning I had a full scholarship to attend Bradley University to play basketball. After 2 years of college, I came home and started back in the same old routine with my brothers. Needless to say, I ended up jailed every time I tried this drug and gang banging thing. The sentence was lesser and lesser than I deserved. Even then, God was calling and showing me mercy. Yet Gary still rejected God. Brings me to 2003. I was wrongfully accused of a crime that they knew I didn't commit. Yet I was eligible to serve a natural life sentence in prison. It was in the penal system that I gave my life over to God for real and committed to serving Him. He cleaned me up and He re-taught me His Word. After being incarcerated for 3.5 years, I was released and acquitted of all charges that were against me. After my release, I began doing the things God called me to do and fulfilling the promise that I made to Him. God had given me a second chance in life, and I can't blow it. I realized I couldn't blow it this time. And not only did He give me a second chance, He equipped me with the things I would need to be successful in carrying out what it was He had called me to do. So in 2006, I started a singing ministry entitled Reason Ministries Incorporated. I was then connected with the person who would play with us, Webcam Barron, who I later married. She served as our minister of music. This group, Reason, has traveled in and out of the state, and this spring we'll be traveling to South Africa in a crusade. February 9, 2011, I also was blessed to open a church entitled New Vision Non-Denominational Church. God has blessed us to have a huge impact in our neighborhood. Also being blessed that in 3 years from now, our community will have the first community center that's geared toward Christianity. We will have the Youth with a Vision Development Center. I want to be more equipped to do what God ordained me to do. This is the reason why I enrolled in MAC-U. If I'm more equipped, then I feel I can be more effective. Yeah, I've had many trials, I've had many tribulations. I've had a lot of people to turn away from me and shy away from me because of some of the things I've done in my past. I've even almost lost my life to the penal system. But now that I have a new attitude and with God's direction, I know that what's to come is better than what's been for us here at New Vision Non-Denominational Church, and personally for me. I believe that in order to make a difference, I have to first be the difference. And today I'm being the difference that I'm trying to make.